is Erik Albertson. I'm one of the lead historians and also the head of training and planning of World War II Armor. I am retired Army after 2 decades of serving, again, the United States Army. Starting out first as a M1 Abrams tank crew member, moving up to tank commander, tank platoon sergeant, and then went into other stuff throughout the rest of my career, non-tanking, into a different occupation. So the unique journey began around 2015 when I lived in Washington, D.C. For work, and a gentleman owned the Saving Private Ryan tagger there, and I met his wife at the museum at Fort George G. Meade, Maryland, while I was touring the museum. And I was talking to her. She had a bunch of World War I tanks, and I'm talking to her about my background being a former tank commander, and she said, well, my husband got a tank and he needs help. You want to help him out? It's a World War II German Tiger tank from Saving Private Ryan. So a couple months later, a friend of his who was putting a crew together of former tankers, tank mechanics, adopted the tank, and we were its benefactor, caretaker, and that was in 2015. And then we met Rabbi Rob, who is the owner and managing director of World War II Armor, which did not exist then, and at the Battle of the Bulge event in Fig up in Pennsylvania. And he was just starting out, and our organization, his organization, hit it off, became good friends, and he eventually acquired our tank after World War II Armor was established in April of 2016 officially. And so then our crew from Maryland ended up joining World War II Armor and was a volunteer from late 2016 until really from when I retired from the Army, before I became a full-time employee here at World War II Armor. We joke it all started with a Thompson submachine gun, because who doesn't need a Thompson? And then after that, he got into living history here in Florida, and then he got a 50 caliber machine gun after doing all the paperwork and everything. And I'm just doing the cliff notes of it all. And then you can't have a 50 caliber machine gun without having something to put it on. So he got a Jeep, and it kind of just went from there. Then he got a couple scout cars, a half track, and then wanted to get a tank. And so then he got a replica M5 Stewart tank, and then a Sherman. So then he started the collection, and then officially established World War II Armor again in early 2016. And it's just grown ever since then.
Ready, firing!
Felt that in my chest.
It never gets old.
Do it again, I wasn't looking.
In order to have a collection like this, a fully operational, when I say fully operational, I mean not just driving, which is always a plus, but all of the cannons and all of our machine guns are live that we blank adapt. So all of our vehicles are 100% operational, just as they were 80 years ago. And so you can't do that with just volunteers. So we have a full-time staff of 10. We have a mechanic department, we have an ordnance department, we have a communications department, we have a full-time armorer, because you can't have tanks without machine guns. We have a full-time personnel officer. We have a full-time historian and training guy. That's me. So all of that is what helps make it work. And so the mechanics are continuously fabricating, building, because these are 80-year-old machines, and they're past their prime. And so to keep them operational is a lot of work. And our motto is breaking or broken, because they're tanks, they're old tanks, or armored vehicles, and so they take a lot of care. So we use them operationally, but then after events we preserve them. They get cleaned, they get washed, and so we are both operators and preservationists. About half of the fleet are aircraft engines, R975 radial engines, because that's what was primarily used in tanks in the beginning of the entrance to World War II, due to the air industry in the 30s, the boom. And so the aircraft engines were, the R975 was only supposed to have a lifespan of 4 to max 800 hours. Perfect operation. Now again, these are aircraft engines. They're supposed to be up in the sky where it's nice and cool. These engines 400 to 800 in perfect conditions. In hot environments such as Florida, 200 to 300 hours. We have to continuously rebuild these aircraft engines because we operate them in a hotter environment, except for when we go up north, and they are on average operating about 80 hours a year. Also, if we cannot find a part specifically for original German pieces, then we have to fabricate it. And so there's a lot of fabricating that goes on into restoring these vehicles and keeping them fully operational. So it's a never-ending job.
We've got to be moving. We're behind. You want to move. You got to get to the next phase line.